I knew she didn't love me anymore the moment she said it. Cold, flat, without even looking up from her phone. You don't dictate my bed or my decisions. And just like that, something quietly broke inside me. I didn't shout. I didn't plead. I just watched the blue glow from her screen flicker across her face, lighting up features I used to memorize. She looked bored, almost irritated that I'd even asked who she'd been out with the night before. 3 hours past midnight. No explanation. No apology. Not even a lie, just indifference. People think betrayal happens in a dramatic instant, some explosion of truth. But for me, it was more like a glass sliding off a counter in slow motion. You see it falling long before it shatters. I remember how she used to speak to me, gentle, warm, playful. How she used to curl her legs over mine on the couch like she owned the space between us. But those memories felt like scenes from someone else's life. In our apartment that night, everything felt cold, distant, unfamiliar. Even the air seemed to avoid touching us. I asked her again, quietly this time, "Are you seeing someone?" She didn't answer. She didn't need to. Her silence was the kind that spoke in full sentences. The signs had been stacking quietly for months. Too quietly for me to admit. The late nights at work. The phone she kept face down. The new perfume I never saw her wear for me. The way she'd recoil slightly when I touched her, as if affection had become an inconvenience. She used to text me little things throughout the day. Pictures of her lunch, or a song she was listening to, or a random "miss you." Then it became one-word replies. Then nothing. But the worst part? I still excused everything. I told myself she was stressed. I told myself relationships go through phases. I told myself I just needed to be more patient, more attentive, more something. I see now how pathetic that was, how desperately I want to keep her even as she was already halfway out the door. The real truth came from a mistake she didn't even realize she made. One morning, while she was in the shower, her iPad lit up on the nightstand. A message preview flashed across the screen. Last night was worth the risk. Same time tonight. My heart didn't drop. It didn't explode. It just went numb, quietly, almost politely, like it had been expecting this, and was relieved the waiting was over. I didn't open the message. I didn't need to violate her privacy to confirm what she'd already confessed through every cold glance and distant shrug. Instead, I placed the iPad exactly where it had been, careful not to disturb anything. When she came out, wrapped in a towel, she didn't look at me. She stepped over the puddles on the floor, humming softly, scrolling through her phone. I watched her move with an ease I no longer recognized, like she was living a life that had outgrown me. I planned my exit quietly. No theatrics, no confrontations, no begging her to choose me. If she wanted freedom, I'd give it to her completely. For 3 days, I acted normal. I made coffee like always, asked about her meetings, kissed her forehead before she left for work. She barely responded. Her mind was somewhere else, on someone else. And honestly, I think she was relieved by my calmness. She didn't know it was a calm of someone who has already decided to stop fighting. The night before I left, she came home late again, her hair a little tousled, her lipstick smudged, her blouse button wrong, one too low, one too high. Little details she didn't bother to fix because she assumed I wouldn't notice. Or worse, because she assumed I would notice and not care. She dropped her bag on the counter and stretched, her voice airy. "Long day?" "Yeah," I said softly. I'm sure. If she heard the edge beneath my words, she ignored it. I left at dawn. I packed only what I had arrived in her life with: a suitcase, my clothes, and the version of myself I still recognized. I left the new things, the gift she'd bought me, the jacket she said made me look put together, the watch she gave me for my birthday, because they felt like props from a relationship that no longer existed. On the kitchen counter, I placed a single envelope, not with accusations, not with angry words, just a simple note. You made your decisions. Now I'm making mine. It wasn't revenge. It wasn't punishment. It was closure. The kind you give yourself when the person you loved refuses to give it. She called me 6 hours later. I didn't answer. She texted. I didn't reply. Then came the anger. So you're just leaving? We could have talked about this. You're being dramatic. I read every message. I responded to none. You don't get to set fire to someone and then complain about the smoke. 2 days later, she sent a final message. I don't know what you think you saw, but I never cheated. Funny, isn't it? How people lie even when you've already walked away. I deleted the message without replying. It's been 8 months now. I live in a small apartment with tall windows that let the morning light spill in. The kind of place that feels like a blank page. Quiet, open, ready to be rewritten. Sometimes when I'm making coffee, I think about that night, how she didn't look up, how she dismissed me with a sentence that was supposed to give her power, but ended up setting me free. You don't dictate my bed or my decisions, she said. She was right. I don't dictate anything in her life, but I control one thing, whether I stay in it. And I chose to leave her world before she destroyed mine.